Hello, welcome back to the channel. So Nod Krai seems to be like a pretty big shift for the game. I mean, it's the first time they're moving away from the sort of established formula that they have, which does actually make me a bit more excited for it, because it means the devs have realized that they can't just do everything they want if they just immediately go to Shesnaya. Now obviously it's going to depend on how it's executed, so we'll just have to wait and see, but I thought it would be interesting to look at what changes could be made to make 6.0 as a whole feel like a pretty big shift and kind of help it improve, you know? Now I do want to say that I don't think any of these changes are like do or die changes. Like I do think that these things should be changed, but I'm probably still going to enjoy Nod Krai even if they don't do these changes. Like I don't think the game's gonna like die or anything if they don't do any of these things, you know? And I do want to say these are things that I do think could potentially happen. Emphasis on potentially. So something like artifact loadouts isn't going to be in this video because they're never going to do it. I'm gonna be honest. Like this, it's just not gonna happen, and I firmly believe it. That like if it was in one of the games, maybe, but it's not in any of them. Like it's not gonna happen. That being said, there are some things that really need to be changed, starting with the daily domain system. How is it the year 2025, and we still have to wait for a specific day to farm for a character? Like I don't get annoyed by many things in this game, but this is one of the things that really annoys me. Even like both Starl and Zenless, you can just farm everything whenever. So there is literally no excuse. I mean, they even know that people want this because it's in the returnee rewards as like a bonus thing, you know? Like I believe that they had it in a survey about it, but I couldn't find it. Like this is like really the biggest thing for me because being on a specific day doesn't make me just want to like come back every day. It just makes me not want to play the game, you know? It's like it just makes me not want to build characters. Like another thing that is in both of the other games is reserved energy. Like there is no reason not to have this. Like it would just make it so that like you don't have to use it every day or else you're just wasting energy. And you know, it's just like both of the other games have it. There's no reason not to have it. Like one kind of like smaller thing, which I don't know if this is just me, but like I would really like if they just spawned us like next to the key in domains instead of having us walk down the steps every single time. Yeah, maybe it's like cool like the first time we go in the domain, but if like I'm just trying to farm, I just want to get it done, and having to run down the steps every time is just kind of annoying, you know? Also, just let us farm a weekly boss more than once a week. At least like 3 times. Like getting boss mats already takes long enough, and like you basically can't max out a character until like 3 weeks later, if that, I don't know. Now moving on from more of like the farming stuff, even though I'm sure that there's more stuff you could suggest. If the devs really want to lean way more into like the lore and like make it way easier for people to like get a lot of the information, the world quests need to be voiced. I do believe that world quests are like some of the best content in the game, but a lot of people just don't do them because they just aren't voiced, which I do get because they can be pretty long and it is way harder to absorb a lot of the information if you're just like reading it as opposed to like hearing it from a VA. Like it is also way harder to get a lot of like the character's personality just from like text alone. I mean, a great example of this is Enjo. Like, you know, him. Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a spoiler, but him being in like the Enkanomiya event and in Kenichi's quest, you get way more of his personality and character in general from hearing his voice that you can't really get from just text alone. Like this one is almost like a requirement for me. Like if we don't get this at some point in 6.x, I will be like insanely disappointed. If you're trying to make a lot of like the big lore a lot easier to understand, like this is one of the requirements. Like they have to do this. Another sort of lore thing is letting us play past events, mainly a lot of the ones with like important lore in them. Like now I haven't done the new Mondstadt quest yet, but the fact that most of Albedo's story is locked behind events is criminal. Like I'm gonna be honest, like that should just never be a thing. But even then, besides that, like things like Unreconciled Stars, like the Windbloom event with all the Hexenzirkel lore in it, literally any of the summer events. Like a lot of the, there's probably more, but I just can't think of them right now. A lot of past events have a lot of information that some people will just never know unless you just look it up. Like you could even have like a lore reason for this. You could just say that we're using like the ley lines to look back at past memories or something. Kind of like what we did in the Diluc event, which is when his outfit came out, you know? Also, to go with this, allow us to get past event weapons, you know? Either like in like a shop or just from like the event itself. There is like no reason for us not to be able to get them. Especially ones like I forget what it's called, but like the sword that Albedo uses, which is like one of his few good options. Like there's so many good event weapons that a lot of people just don't have, and there's just no reason that we shouldn't be able to get them, you know? Now these next couple of things are like pretty similar to one another, so I'm gonna kind of bundle them together. So I think mainly just like convenience things. Living, one, allowing us to change the element on the Traveler whenever we want, instead of just having to go back to the statue every time. Because, like, that's just kind of annoying. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really use Traveler, but, like, it's just kind of annoying, especially if you're, like, a newer player and, like, trying to do puzzles or something, especially in, like, the earlier areas, and just having to constantly go and switch elements is just a huge pain in the ass. Like, not gonna lie. 2, allow us to craft anywhere we want, and collect commissions anywhere instead of just having to go back to the city every time. Yeah, seeing Catherine might be like cool sometimes, but let's be honest, no one wants to go back to the city every single time they want to do their dailies or just like farm or like anything. Like, let's be honest here. It's just annoying, like that's all it is. And 3, allow resin to give encounter points. Like, this is the biggest one out of the 3 for me, because literally everything gives you encounter points except farming, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's probably the thing that people do the most. Like, it's part of your, like, daily thing. Why would you not have the system that gives you points for dailies also work with farming? I just don't understand. Like, let's be honest, who's gonna go out of their way to find, like, 8 chests instead of just doing daily commissions? Like, most people are not gonna do that. Let's be honest. Like, I guess you could make the argument that it would make doing dailies, like, even shorter, and thus people would not play the game as much, but having more dailies isn't gonna make people play the game more. If anything, it would make people play the game less. And what's gonna make the people play the game more is actual content, which is why I am hopeful that the whole like custom, like, I forget what they called it exactly, but the whole like custom mode that the devs are making, people can make whatever they want, is gonna actually be good. Because if the devs can do it right, that could have like endless potential for just the longevity of the game in general. And the last change for this video is just something that I really want. Just please, for the love of God, do something with the Abyss, man, because like it's been barely changed for so long. Like, what was the last change? Is that they gave it like more rewards, and I think that was kind of it. Like I don't know, it's just boring now. Like this one, it's just the same thing every single time. Like, maybe like add more floors, change up the way that the fights work, do something with like the fight with the buffs that you pick on each floor. Like literally anything besides just different enemies, because it doesn't matter how much you change the enemies, the core of the gameplay is still the same. Like, yeah, they do also change like the actual like main buff sometimes, but at the same time, like, do you really care about that a lot of the time? Like, let's be honest. Like, yeah, it is helpful, but you can still beat it without using it, which, to be fair, I do think is a good thing. I'm just saying that it could be a bit more interesting because it is kind of boring sometimes. And getting 3 stars on floor 12 a lot of the time just doesn't really feel that worth it. It just doesn't really feel worth it for the effort that you put in. Like, I don't really have any like specific changes for it, at least right now. I mean, I might make a video on it, I'm not sure, but it just needs something. Like, I know a lot of people don't really like Imaginarium Theater, but like at least it does feel different from a lot of the other like endgame modes that these kind of games have, even if it can be kind of annoying sometimes, At least it feels different, These definitely aren't like the only changes I could have mentioned. So if you have any other ideas, leave them in the comments below. While I do think that the game does need changes, I am still excited for Nod Krai, and I'm kind of just excited to play the game in general. Like, I'm definitely getting back into it more. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.